Kate McKenzie, thank you very much for joining us. Telstra last week became the first company to actually register for the request for proposals by putting a $5 million bond to the government. Why is Telstra, in your mind, the best company to deliver to Australia a high-speed fibre network?
Well, it's a huge undertaking. I think it would be the biggest infrastructure-based project in Australia for many years. That requires massive amounts of organisation, planning, logistics, expertise, money. It's a major undertaking. We're really the only company who can do that inside Australia. We've been building these networks for 100 years. Look what we did with the NextG network. People thought it couldn't be done. In 10 months, we had a brilliant functioning network up and running. It'd be great to be able to have the opportunity to do the same thing in relation to the fixed line network. We have the expertise, the engineering skills, the relationships. We've been planning for this network for more than 3 years now, so others I think are really going to struggle.
Kate, some people have said and put the argument that if Telstra was to win this tender or proposal, that it would re-establish the old telecom monopoly. Under Telstra's plan, will all competitors have access to the FTTN network?
The company's always said this would be an open access network where wholesale customers would get access to the network on an equivalent basis to our retail customers, and that continues to be part of the commitment here. I think all this talk about return to monopolies, it's amazing. I just was having a conversation with my guys this morning about a piece of business that we're going after where we have 15 other wholesale customers competing for the business. Funny, with all this competition and all these customers competing for business, that people still carry on about monopolies. But anyway, haven't quite made it into the modern world of the reality of what goes on in the telecommunications market in Australia.
Kate, you're very much at the forefront as the head of Telstra Wholesale. How, in your mind, will FTTN change the telecommunications competitive landscape in Australia?
Look, I think the competitive landscape in Australia is changing. We did have too many little ISPs, many of whom are now consolidating or exiting the market. I would expect that those consolidation trends would continue, and I expect that we'll continue to have pretty robust competition. There's a different kind of competition that will occur in a fibre-based network. There's lots of new business opportunities for different players in the market to play in different parts of the market, to construct their own application layers. Lots of sort of opportunities in health, education. No doubt people will get into IPTV, and we'll be selling them the basic infrastructure building blocks that they need to do their own value add and their own investment to be able to pursue those opportunities. And I think there's pretty good prospect, and what we would hope to get out of it is more diverse competition based on the extra functionality that the new networks will be able to provide.
As we mentioned earlier, Telstra put up a $5 million bond. What's that bond for, and where to next from here?
Okay, well, the $5 million bond is part of the Commonwealth Government's request for proposals, and I guess, the idea of the bond, as I understand it, was to make sure that, only people who were seriously interested in participating in this process should bother getting involved in the process. So everybody who wants to participate has to lodge their $5 million bond. We put ours in early because, we wanted to get ahead of the game. We'd like to get access to other people's network information, so we've got the maximum opportunity available to put in the best response to the request for proposals that we can. So we've paid our $5 million. We've also made available our network information so that, the process can be gotten on with as expeditiously as possible.
Kate, if we can just skip a bit forward, we are in an FTTN world. In your mind, how has it changed Australia? How has it changed the way we live, work and, I guess, play?
I think that really is the key to all of this. If there's one country in the world that should be investing in this kind of technology, it has to be Australia. We are a large geography, a relatively small population. We suffer from the tyranny of distance. We're on the other side of the globe compared to most other Western economies. You know, the opportunities for the country in terms of the next wave of productivity improvements, the things that we can do with medical technology, the things that we can do to improve the quality of education for the country, the business opportunities that are going to be available to people where you can sort of run very successful businesses from the middle of nowhere using this technology. You look at how much our lives have changed, how radically they've changed off the back of technology, how pervasive the internet is now. You know, 73% of people have got an internet connection in Australia now. You know, 47% of them have got a social networking site. You know, people are today already in the capital cities able to run quite successful businesses using this technology where their customers might be on the other side of the globe. And, you know, more and more I think we'll see that. I'll give you a little down-home sort of personal example, you know. My daughter wanted this thing called a bedazzler, and I walked all around these thousands of shopping centres and everybody kept looking at me going, what the hell's a bedazzler, and we don't know what it is. Anyway, I look it up on the internet, I find an internet provider who sells bedazzlers, and I order it thinking it must be somewhere in the US, and hey, guess what? It's somebody in Taree who set up a little craft business entirely run off the internet, sourcing these products, pretty specialised kind of crafty sort of products, and selling them all over the world out of their office in Taree using internet-based technology. I mean, that's just a little tiny example of the kind of radical change that I think we're going to see going forward, some of which we haven't even imagined yet.